With Westminster right around the corner, I always see two things. One is excitement from my fellow dog show handlers, breeders, and owners over meeting up, seeing friends with familiar faces, and enjoying each other over their love of dogs. And the second is hate, degradation, and shame. Why? Because so many people don't know what a dog show really is. So many people think dog shows are just doggy beauty pageants, and I don't even see how you could draw that comparison. People like PETA and the Humane Society of the United States, just about any rescue, shelter, or adopt-don't-shop group try and say dog shows are cruel, evil, and abusive, and yet people believe this without giving it a second thought. Plus, it doesn't help when a certain people get upset over who wins best in show and throw hate and ignorance over the breed that did win because the one breed that they wanted to win didn't. So in honor of Westminster right around the corner, I decided to tackle some of the myths and misconceptions of dog shows to show what these really are and that they're not to be hated but loved and enjoyed as events for all dog people. So I could go on and on about dog shows all day, but for the sake of time, I narrowed it down to just a few most prominent myths. I even asked some of you out there for these. Trust me, it was hard to narrow this down to get this video done in time. In total, we have the following myths and misconceptions we're gonna cover. That dog shows are just dog beauty pageants. All purebred dogs in dog shows are unhealthy genetic abominations that are all inbred, that they're less intelligent, various other health-related issue and myths. That dog shows don't get to be real pets, they can't have fun, they can't play, etc. Show dogs are abused because they have to stand for long periods of times, or the products that are used for grooming, they don't get fed if they don't get win, other such examples. All dog show people are rich and snobby that make money off of their dogs, that there's prize money to be won in dog shows. People who want a good pet don't need to go to a show breeder, and show dogs don't have the working instinct or they can't do sports or work. There's plenty more rumors and misconceptions I could say, but I want this video to not be 30 hours long, so I have to limit these to right now, and maybe if this video does well enough or people want to see more, I can follow up going over others, because I got plenty. We're gonna head through these one at a time, with the first, dog shows are just dog beauty pageants. I don't understand how people can even relate the two together. A dog show by definition is an evaluation of breeding stock. Dog shows are meant to judge how well a dog conforms or presents itself compared to its own standard. Put a pin on that word, standard. You see, every breed out there has what's called a breed standard. These extremely detailed documents lay out the ideal look, temperament, and movement of a dog's breed to extremely fine detail. From the correct angle for ears to be set on a Scottish Terrier's head, to the individual spots of a Dalmatian, to the proper trot of a German Shepherd, to the exact length of a coat on a Siberian Husky. Dogs are judged according to their own standard. I'm going to repeat this. Dogs are not judged against each other. They are judged on their own standard. This will be jammed into your brain by the end of this video, and you will be saying this until you are saying it out loud in your sleep, even in shows where every breed is the same. Here's an example of what I mean dogs are judged against the standard. Say in a ring with 4 Malamutes. Malamute 1 may have a good top line, but the ears are a bit bigger than the standard ones. Malamute 2 may have normal-sized ears, but what's called cow hocks, and thus it doesn't stand super well. Malamute 3 may have good ears, hocks, and top line, but the coat isn't as oily or woolly as the standard ones. And Malamute 4 may have an alright top line, ears, hocks, and coat, but is slightly larger than what should be for that specific sex of the breed, and has blue eyes. This is what it comes down to. Each standard adds up various aspects of the dog into points, and then comes together to see which is the best. The idea is for the judge to find the dog with the least amount of faults. A fault is a downside in the dog that makes the dog that is detrimental to a breed or type. An example in Malamutes would be an overshot or undershot bite. The dog can still win, but will be penalized for it, so if there's another Malamute in the ring with a better bite, that Malamute may win over your dog because the bite is better. Now in our hypothetical Malamute ring we have here, first off, Malamute 4 would be disqualified automatically. This is because blue eyes, in the AKC standard at least, is an immediate disqualification in Alaskan Malamutes. This dog cannot possibly win no matter how well the other parts add up. A disqualification, or DQ, means that if your dog has anything listed in the standard that is a DQ, they cannot win, even if they are the only breed of their kind in the ring. Some other examples of disqualification in breeds are white-colored German Shepherd dogs, in the AKC standard at least, a Golden Retriever being more than 1 inch smaller or taller than the standard, or, cover your ears, children and nuns, any male dog not having both testicles descended. Back to our Malamute ring, I would say probably Malamute 3 would win best of breed. While it may not have the best coat compared to what the standard wants, it has the least amount of faults entirely when up to the standard, with the most positives. Again, it's all in the points, you get the idea. So how does this relate to dog beauty pageants? Well, dogs aren't judged in comparison to each other, unlike beauty pageants where the contestants are. They're not judged on their looks alone, they're judged on other aspects like temperament and movement. And of course, say it with me, they are not compared to each other. This is the biggest point I am slamming down your tiny heads, that they are not compared to each other. Even in breed rings, where every breed is the same, they are each compared to their own standard and not each other. While a Malamute may have a good part in how they look on the face, they maybe don't have the best coat compared to what the standard wants. It's about narrowing it down to see what dog has the least amount of faults. In other words, it's far more than just how the dog looks or how nicely it's groomed. The structure needs to be there, as does the movement. All in all, just remember, they're not compared to each other. They're compared to a breed standard. Next misconception is that all show dogs are unhealthy, that they're all inbred, that they have tons of genetic issues, etc., etc. Plain and simple, this isn't true. In fact, I dare say that these show dogs are probably healthier than your dog is, and certainly healthier than mixed breeds. This is a whole huge can of dog food I don't want to open in this video, mostly because I already have that script in production. I'm going to keep the story closed for another time and I'll come back to this because honestly, it's such a huge topic. But suffice to say, if when I'm at a show and the best in show winner can show me right there on their phones their dog's pedigree and all health tests literally at their fingertips, shows it. In fact, it happened to me when I went to a show in a town called Doswell. I talked to the German Shepherd's best of breed handler and showed me, right then and there on his phone, his health test results, along with his parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents. As an example, his hips were OFA excellent, which is the best rating, as were his parents, grandfather, and great-grandparents on his father's side. The other side had good ratings also, so they aren't a slouch either. You can do it yourself. If you know the dog's registration number or registered name, you can look up their test results on the OFA website. Go on, give it a try. Simple point is, these dogs are not unhealthier. They're probably healthier than your own dog, unless you watching this has a show dog yourself, in which case, hey, comment what breed. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Even the brachy breeds, they can breathe just fine. Side note here, Frenchies do not need a C-section after every litter and don't drop dead if they run longer than 5 seconds. It's a stupid misconception that I hate because if it was true, the breed would have died long ago. They can be healthy, people just don't bother to look for health. They would rather look for color. Side note here, Myrtle is not a natural color in Frenchies. Stop breeding it! You're the problem, you breeders of color over health. Ugh. Anyway, you need to differentiate the difference between a good, responsible breeder who's breeding for health and temperament over a breeder who's breeding for money or color or something else stupid like that. Good breeders put health first and look for dogs who can help minimize health concerns. In fact, it is fully possible for a dog to make its way to a champion of record, only for its test results to be poor, and thus the dog won't be bred. It can and does happen. Rarely happens, but does. You see, there's this thing called health testing for a reason which can tell us, ahead of time, what dogs are going to produce healthier puppies. So rather than put 2 and 2 together and take a shot in the dark for getting healthier puppies like we did before testing was invented, we can tell what dogs will be healthier. The point is this, these dogs are just as healthy, if not more healthy, than most dogs out there. Don't you dare go telling me that they're inbred monstrosities, because they are anything but. If you have seen how much breeders obsess over pedigrees, you will know that they are not inbred. Like I said before, I could go on and on, but I need to keep this short. Plus that episode is already in production. Next myth, show dogs aren't real pets. They don't get to have fun or be like normal dogs. Are you kidding me? People think this. No, Chris, tag out, I'm done. Ranger, come back. Nope, I can't handle this bull. People think this? Really? Okay. Let me say this in the fact that these show dogs are probably more of a pet than your pet is. Look, they are just like any other dog out there. They still go for walks, they still snuggle with the family, they still track muddy paw prints in the house, they still get dirty, messy, and unclean, and they still look at you with those big eyes begging for that piece of chicken you're eating. This is disgusting people think this. Tell me, does this dog look like it's not having fun? This dog on screen is Grand Champion Show Dog. Does she look like she's not a champion? These dogs probably get more exercise and stimulation than any average person's dog do that spend most of their days couch surfing in the kind way to put it. I could say much worse, don't test me. These dogs are still dogs, they still make messes, they still get into things they shouldn't, and still have families that love them. They are dogs just like any other, and they are loved way more than you think. They are beloved pets that we enjoy, and they get to be dogs. They just have something a little extra about them. These dogs love to show, and if they didn't, they would let you know, because not just any dog is gonna let strangers touch their bodies all over. And I mean all over. Show dogs are just like any dog out there. They still have fun, they still play, they still make messes of the water bowl, and they still steal your hearts. And food if you leave it around where they can get it. Next! Show dogs are abused because they stand for long periods of time, they get all different products put in their coat, they don't get fed if they don't get weighed, etc. Chris, do I have to continue? Can we tag out and let Sasha take over? No, stop complaining. You wanted to do this. Ugh, alright, fine. Show dogs are abused? This is the single most must think it looks ridiculous. Second most ridiculous thing I've heard. Okay, first off, I'ma send us back on a field trip to my time in the creative grooming video. Train a dog as a puppy to enjoy being on the table, being brushed, being near loud dryers, being touched on the nails from a young age, and they don't fight. Dogs often love being groomed. It's one-on-one attention time. They don't see the brush as a brush, they see it as I'm being pet, and dogs love attention. Case in point, Pastor Me made some good points. Heck, most don't even stand for most of it. They sit down on a comfy pillow and are pampered. This poodle on screen is asleep. These dogs love their grooming. If you want more information, go watch that video because I'm not repeating myself. As for products, yeah, so any normal dog groomer uses products like these all the time. From nice smelling dog perfumes to coat texturizers to sprays to make it easier to clip dogs' fur. They are all made for pets and are safe for pets. They're probably better than what we use on our own hair. And even so, most are washed right out when the showing is done. They are safe for dogs just like any other dog product out there. If they weren't safe for dogs, they would permanently damage the coat, and that is the last thing you want to do with a show dog. The products are safe, hence why they are sold at dog shows. And the whole dog doesn't get fed if it doesn't win is just plain old anti-dog show propaganda. Trust me, even if you forget to feed a show dog, even by accident, they will remind you, constantly, until you do. Dogs still get walked, fed, played with, even if they lose. They still get them cuddles and huggles, even if they lose. Simply put, this "they are abused" misconception was just made up. There's no proof these dogs are abused, and if they were, Would they be wagging their tails and smiling? Even if I was to play devil's advocate and say choke chains on show leads are cruel, dogs have extra skin on their neck to prevent injury. Sure, occasionally a dog may have a hiccup in the ring and cough as the handler tries to get them to hold their hand up so that they don't sniff the ground, but they're not strangled from a noose like people think. Heck, some dogs have the show leads taken off when being presented to the judge, and they stand there, fine. Short answer, not true. If you don't believe me, go to a dog show and ask people how they care for the dogs, both at shows and home. If the dogs were abused, they wouldn't be happily wagging their tails at any stranger walking past them, and certainly wouldn't be letting a stranger touch them all over. Okay, next myth. Show dog people are snobby rich jerks who make money off their dogs. Just how? I mean, I would love to make money off my dog, but that is so farther from the truth. First off, most shows don't even have prize money. Even big name shows like Westminster and Crufts don't give prize money to the winners. Yep, you heard that right. Even big name Westminster doesn't give out prize money to best in show. Knows large checks and no sum of catch, zero zilch zep. There are trophies, yes, but not prize money 99% of the time. In fact, the only two shows that I can think of that give money as a prize are Purina Nationals and AKC Nationals. And that's two! Other than that, no money. You lose money going to dog shows to show your dog. Second, if you think we make money off of our dogs, take a 180 on the turnpike because we lose money doing this. Unless you are a well-respected, well-known handler of dogs who shows working with multiple breeds and owners, you often lose money doing this. You're lucky if you break even. Like lottery levels of luck if you break even. Between entry fees, lodging and fuel, food, travel time, supplies, and no prize money output, I would be shocked if breeders even broke even. Not to mention that those puppies we make money off of, they may cost about $2,000 to $3,000, but compare that to the laundry list of preparations for the litter, and you lose money in the long run. Just as an example, the average price for one OFA hip exam is about $300, give or take based on location. For one. And you may need to repeat them, and your dog may need to be put under to get an accurate reading, which adds more. Then you need to get the certificate for proving they're healthy. This is one hip test for one breed, which can possibly have up to 5 or 6 tests required. Some are easier than others, but I think this goes to show. Besides, supplies, vet care, emergency issues, stud fees, all that adds up. Please, we breeders wish we could make money off those dogs so that way they could pay for themselves, but we don't. I am surprised if a good breeder who shows even breaks even. The only way you could possibly make money off these dogs is if you're handling as a professional handler for other breeders and owners. And even still, once you subtract all the expenses, that's not a ton of cash left over. Why do people waste all their time and money on these tests? To keep the breeds healthy. Health is first and foremost on a responsible breeder's list. Not looks, not colors, health. That's why we run all these tests, to make sure the best puppies are produced to preserve to the next generation. As for the rich and snobby part, yes, there are those people out there. There will always be jerks in the dog show world who want to put you down or something else of that nature, but whether you want to associate yourself with them or let them drag you down is your own prerogative. And for rich, yes, you do see those people who are basically doing nothing but showing because their significant other makes 6 figures a year, but I know several people who have basically put every last penny they have outside their budgets for their dogs because they care that much. People who do this don't do it for the money. They do it for the love of the breed and the love of the future, for history. And I know several dog people who basically drop every moment of free time they have to work to show these dogs. In short, just like most things in the world, this sport is for everyone as long as you have a thick skin. It doesn't matter your race, age, gender, economic status, identification, whatever. As long as you respect the dogs and each other, people don't care and anyone can show. All it takes is some time. Next, okay, people who just want a nice family pet don't need to seek out show breeders because show breeders don't care unless you want to show dogs. Oh, why did I agree to do this video? The amount of stupidity I am hearing is making me lose my brain cells. Anyway, this is another subject I could save for an entire video because that script is also in production. But I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. You should be putting your dog's health above all else, and no one does that better than people who show dogs. Plenty of puppies produced by these show breeders don't cut it for the breed ring, and thus are sold as nice family pets. Even if you just want a pet, these breeders breed for health and can go one step above, proving their dog is best of the best in structure and temperament. So even if someone says they'll sell you a golden retriever for only $500, okay, but the bitterness of poor quality will remain long after the sweetness of your deal is gone. Chances are that $500 dog is going to have serious problems, even die, before it turns age 2, and is going to cost way more than that well-bred puppy would have in medical bills later in life. Do your research. Health should be number one, not price tag. If the only thing a breeder is advertising in their litter is rare color or cheap puppies, look elsewhere because those dogs are born sick and will die sick. Again, a lot more of this story, but this is a story I'm keeping closed for another time because I could make a video on it. In fact, it's already in the works. Kill me now for the stupidity I will have to hear when that video comes out. Bark point here. Next misconception is show dogs don't have working instinct and can't do jobs or sports. I mentioned the whole point of dog shows was to prove how the dog looks, acts, and moves, right? There are plenty of, sometimes world-renowned show dogs who have plenty of working or sport titles. It doesn't help that even thinking that dogs should, divines forbid, work is considered abuse by some of the general public, but suffice to say there are plenty of show dogs who know how to work and do work in their traditional jobs. Plenty of show dogs have sport titles to actual working titles to real jobs. All in all, show dogs are just as capable of working as any other. Plenty with sports that are fun like agility and flyball to real working titles and jobs like herding, water work, therapy, or even sight dogs. The instinct is there, you just need to prove it. These show dogs can do their jobs, and they love them as well. And last for this video, the dogs aren't trained, and showing dogs is easy. Wow. Just wow. I can't believe people think this. I almost want to laugh because people think it looks so easy. Okay, sure, it may look easy, but it sure as hell ain't something just anyone can do. Most of these people handling dogs on the big screen have been working since they could possibly walk into the ring. On the surface, it may just look like someone fiddling with a treat and tittering a dog around a ring, but that isn't just it. These people need to know the breed that they're working with to a T. They need to present the dog in its top form while minimizing its downsides. It isn't just grab dog and treat and walk left. I should know, I thought the same thing for the longest times, but there's all kinds of ins and outs like how big the dog is compared to you, how fast you need to walk and run to keep pace to the dog's leg length, your leg length, proper etiquette in the ring, the correct style and color of the show leash, your clothing color and style to contrast, making sure the dog is calm. So many little things, there's a reason people make a profession out of this. Not to mention, needing to know the personality of the dog because some may get pretty finicky at times. They may not be enticed by treats and thus you need to find some other way to get their attention. Dogs have to be trained to stand still and not freak out when a stranger touches them, and not be crazy when they're near other intact dogs. Plus, and this is a big plus, this is a 24/7, 365 days a year job. This isn't a 9-to-5, Monday to Friday job. Someone has to walk, feed, check out, maintain, and entertain these dogs, and dogs won't do it themselves. This is a job you are never off from. Once you agree to do it, you don't have you time. You may have downtime, but not you time. It's a labor of love. Long days and nights of traveling, non-stop barking in your ears, running for 18 hours on 2 minutes of sleep, Eating anything you can while brushing, chalking, washing, whatever a dog, losing everything you ever took for granted to do a job you love. Missing out on family gatherings, friend hangouts, and fun events to do a job that is a labor of love. This is not a job for just anyone. I dare any person who says it's easy and that anyone can do it. Go try and work for a professional handler for 1 weekend at shows and tell me if you want to die by the halfway of day 2, because most do. This is not something you can just grab and do. This requires training, time, and dedication. A lot of dedication. So there you have it, misconceptions of dog shows busted. Again, this was a small list, but honestly, I could have 80 pages of rumors and misconceptions about dog shows and sports and not even scratch the surface. Look, I ask people to do this in their life. Look at something you don't agree with and try to see it from the other side. If you really dislike something, see what makes other people like it. That's how I got into show dogs in the first place. I started to wonder why people will do things like breeding dogs when there are dogs in shelters, and once I learned that these people who dedicate time, love, and sanity to keeping history alive for the future, I gave them the respect they deserve. These people don't deserve hate, they deserve credit. What they do isn't something that just anyone can do. For those who we can't agree with, so? Look, it doesn't matter if you're adopt, don't shop, or purebred all the way. It doesn't matter if you hate working dogs or love working dogs. It doesn't matter if you're anti-crop or pro-crop. What we all share in common is a love for dogs, and that is exactly what a dog show is. A gathering to show love for all dogs. We should be friends about what we love, not making enemies. Ranger can't finish a video to save her life! I got this video done in like a week and a half. Oh my god, I was put on such a time crunch because I remembered Westminster was coming up. I wanted to get it done before then, but then when you get called away to work... Oh man. Extra special thanks to all those who let me borrow pictures and who also told me some stories. An extra special thank you to those who said some specific rumors I didn't think much of, and who really end up just helping me a lot, so yeah, some of you actually did give some of the rumors for this video, so credit to you guys. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.